This is not a flat top, and I'm not Andrew Fuller. Alright, so quick backstory on this SkyTap. So back when I did my flotation video, Andrew Fuller, was nice enough to let me borrow this frame to do my testing. So at the time, it's just a frame. I put a brick on the back of it and did my whole flotation testing. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link above here. But since then, I hung on to it, and he wanted me to swap a motor onto it and fly it and see how I liked it. I did not have an extra motor, but if you guys remember my interview with Andy Bean, link above, he had his old motor off of his crashed Scout. So the motor still ran fine and he had it, so he offered to give me that motor to put on this frame so we can fly it. Andrew Fuller sent us out some harnesses, and here we are. Let's just go right into it and check it out. Alright, so first of all, you guys might recognize this style of frame. Flat Top uses a similar frame. I think they actually parented their design off of the ROUNDTOP, not 100% sure. But this has a bunch of improvements. So I'm actually good buddies with the guy that designs these, and he's making developments on this basically as we speak. So every time you talk to him, they've made some type of improvement on this frame. So first of all, they do make their own custom harnesses. So this is actually a custom dudek power seat. If you guys have ever flown a dudek power seat, they're amazing. They're probably one of the most, if not the most comfortable harness on the market. And they customize theirs to work with their quick release harness, which is one of the main safety features of the motor. So if you guys remember this from the flotation video, it's a quick pull, boom, and you're out of it. They also have some extra safety here, a little clip for doing acro. I think they call that the acro clip. So you can clip this in just for that added safety, but it's on a pretty good piece of Velcro. I wouldn't expect that to go anywhere. So they've modified the dudek power seat to work with this harness, or excuse me, this frame. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the harnesses that SkyTap makes for these can be used on any paramotor. I'm pretty sure. I don't see why you couldn't. Last thing on the ground, I don't know if they offer it with other motors, but all the ones I've seen have had a Vitarazi Moster 185, which is the motor I'm used to. This is an MY19. I have no complaints about this motor at all. Love the power. You guys know the history on the motor, so I won't get into that, but this particular SkyTap has a Moster 185 on it, and I think that's pretty much it. The rest we can cover in the air. The other main thing about this paramotor, and maybe its main quality, is its robustness. So this thing is a friggin' tank. You guys have seen videos or seen it in person if you've been to a lot of fly-ins. Andrew Fuller doing cage drags on these things. So he'll literally fly, and instead of doing a foot drag, he'll drag the cage across the ground, or purposely crash it into the ground just to show you guys that you basically cannot destroy this thing. It's a modular frame design, so if you bend up one of these quarter pieces, you just order one, slap a new one on. It does fold up. These little comfort bars here, there's Velcro down here you can undo. They slide out and fold in, because it does have kind of a wide profile, wider than other paramotors. But it's really unique. It's a trade-off. Everything is, right? So you might trade some of the safety and robustness for some ground comfort. But I'll be honest with you guys, I've flown it a few times. It's not as comfortable as a Scout is on the ground, but I mean, like I said, it's a trade-off. Once you hike it up on your back and you get it figured out, just like any paramotor, you can make do. And again, we're not hiking with these usually, we're flying with them, so a couple seconds of minor uncomfort, not that big of a deal to me. So yeah, let's get the harness switched out, get in the air, and we'll talk about the rest while we're up there. See you guys. Alright, just got the harness swapped, and everything I said about it not being comfortable on the ground earlier, I think was due to the wrong harness being on here. So I had an extra large harness on. This is the small medium, and it fits way better. Still a little bit tight in the junk, but again, I think I'm ready to fly. Let's get up there.
All right, well, I have a riser twist. You see right here? My riser's twisted, but my brake line is completely free, so it's really not going to affect how it flies at all. And I'm going to make the call. I'm not doing any acro or anything today except flying, to just continue flying. Rather than bumble on while I'm on takeoff here, I'll fly it around for a little while, get a few thoughts, and we'll catch back up. Alright, so got a little bit of altitude, and I'll give you guys my semi-initial thoughts on this motor. The first time I flew it, something was wrong with it. I didn't know what it was, but I took off, and it torqued really bad to the right. So bad that I couldn't compensate with brake and weight shift comfortably without feeling I was fighting it too hard and risking a riser twist or something like that. Since then, we readjusted the harnesses, made sure everything was exactly right. We added the anti-torque lamels. These are ppgsmoke.com torque lamels. Now the torque is manageable. So every paramotor deals with torque in a different way. You guys know the Scout is dynamic, it uses those fins. Some paramotors have offset carabiner hook-in points. Some wings even have it built in. The Hadron XX, for example, has 2 hook-in points. So there's a bunch of ways to deal with torque. This one, without anything, you're more or less relying on weight shift and the geometry of the paramotor itself. So we added the anti-torque lamels, and it made a world of difference. Flying it right now, this is the most relaxed I've been on it. So I'm flying the correct size harness, which makes a world of difference. I'm so glad I spent the time on the ground to fix it rather than fly it with the large harness. These harnesses, you can see here, they ride at this little pin here, or this little ring rather, and if you're not in the right size harness, you're almost balancing. Right? It feels like if I slept forward, I'd be sliding out of the harness. If I went back, I'd be up, my feet were up here. Okay, that and the hook-in points were a little bit too far forward. So I moved the hook-in points back, got the right size harness, and I'll tell you guys, I'm comfy. The cockpit of this thing is roomy. When I was just putting on my gloves, I had way more room than I did in the Scout. So I was able to come up here. I've got all this room up here. You don't feel cramped. And again, that's just personal preference. I actually personally like a nice, tight, cozy harness, but this is nice too. I mean, like I said, I have all the room that I need, and I have access to all my controls, and it's actually pretty nice. It's really comfortable. Like I said, this deck power seat, it's just like any other deck power seat. It's nice and comfy on the back, and the seat board is comfy, and with this quick release harness, there's basically nothing on your legs. Not that you feel leg straps anyways, but it's just like sitting in a comfy seat. So no complaints there. Next is the weight shift. So this is another high point of the SkyTap Angel. So we'll do a couple weight shift only turns you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm on cruise power here. I'll even increase a little bit. So I'll show you my left weight shift. Look at this. Look at that. That's no brake. That's no brake. Brake is loose. Okay, now right weight shift. Look at that. I'll do 2 more and I'll show you the wing. Okay, because it might not show the angle on the GoPro. Okay, so here's the right wing tip. I'll even snow the brake. So no brake, right wing tip, cruise power. Look at this. Look at that! Below the horizon with just a weight shift turn. That's unbelievable. Alright, we're going to go left with power and see if I can do the same thing. So, I'm not going to stow this brake because I got my throttle hand, but I won't use it. Here we go. Left weight shift. Under power. Almost. So the torque is not letting me get that wingtip on the horizon, but the weight shift on this thing is unbelievable. And the reason that is because you're basically, the harness is hanging from a point here and a point here. There's nothing connecting here. There's a strap on the bottom that keeps you connected from the motor leaning too far forward on the ground or whatever. But more or less, you're hanging at these 2 points. So you're just a swing. So you can throw all your weight to this side, and look what it does. You can throw all your weight to this side, and look at that. It's unbelievable. It's truly a hands-off cross-country machine. You can throw your brakes up here. In this case, you got your nice riser twist here. You can just let your brake hang because you got no travel anyway, and just sit back and relax. And I'm telling you, it's a cross-country machine. Your hands fall behind these comfort bars. You spot behind them. Rest your hands right here. Rest them up here. It's really, really comfortable in the air. So very, very happy with that. Beyond that, I mentioned everything on the ground. It's robust. You can cage drag them. This is not my frame. I'm not going to cage drag it. But you can look up tons of videos online. Look up SkyTap Angel on YouTube. I've seen you can add an extra fuel tank if you wanted to. Right next to this one, it's just 2 pins you pull out, add a fuel tank. Yeah, guys, I'm trying to think about anything else. Obviously, I mentioned it a few times before, but the quick release is amazing. It's loose on you, but it's one pull and you're out of this harness, minus your chest strap, which is just a ground handling strap. It even has this acro clip here. So you can clip this in. If you're doing acro or anything, you might think you might bump this, I guess. I don't do anything that crazy, so I don't see myself ever having to use that, but it's a cool little feature. The netting is another amazing part of this Paramotor. So this netting here is probably the strongest of any Paramotor I've seen. I think it's the strongest. I've seen people stand on this netting and you can't push it to touch the prop. I guess lastly, it looks sexy, so it's like the Jeep Wrangler of Paramotors, man. It's robust. It's modular. You can bolt things onto it. You can swap cage pieces out if you damage one. Yeah, I mean, SkyTap Angel, man. Who knew? Who knew? Alright, so a couple of potential negatives about this Paramotor. So, it's bigger. If that's something you care about, it's not one of these smaller units. It's pretty big. It takes up my whole pickup truck bed. But again, these arms fold in. So again, that's not a huge deal. And I got enough room in my garage for it, so it really wouldn't matter to me. And ground comfort, but this is something that is the trade-off, right? So you're sacrificing a little bit of ground comfort, walking around on the ground with it, for the overall design. And maybe this can be improved upon in the future, but the nature of the quick release kind of rides up a little bit on your junk. But again, this was something that was way worse when I was flying with the wrong harness. So today it was just a minor inconvenience. It's just something you'd notice, but it's not a reason not to fly it. So that and the torque, but again, you can manage the torque with torque lamels and a little bit of weight shift. So again, like I said, I'm cruising right now, and if I cross my legs, I'm going to the left, which torque pulls you to the right. So just that alone is too much weight shift for a cruise. I have to go this way, turn back. But again, man, I haven't touched the brake in, I don't know, 10 minutes. I've been able to make all the turns I need with this weight shift, which I've never been able to do before. Never been able to turn like this with just weight shift. It's pretty amazing. That's pretty much it, you guys. If you guys want more information on this, look up SkyTap Angel on YouTube. There's a ton of videos on it by Andrew Fuller, the guy that makes these. You can also reach out to him on Facebook. He's an awesome dude. You know me, I'm about to cut out the talking, listen to some tunes, enjoy this flight. We'll catch you back up on the ground. See you guys. Look at that, this thing still going. There you go, guys, SkyTap Angel. Those are my thoughts. Again, if you got questions, reach out to Andrew Fuller on Facebook, or look up SkyTap Angel, just Google it. It's also on YouTube, so check them out. And see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.
like, subscribe, Instagram, you know. Peace. Fuck. Rebuilds helmet, immediately drops it on the ground and breaks it.